Now we get to the crux of the matter and the reason why we are all here. I now wish to present to you our manifesto, which is anchored and centered around what we have termed a 9-point plan, which is as follows. I will read them one by one and unpack each of them. Number 1 on our 9-point plan is to win as many wards as possible. We have raised honest and ethical leaders to stand as independent candidates in the communities and successfully contest elections in their respective wards. We have identified candidates who are already recognized as leaders amongst their peers and have a tangible track record in serving the communities they live in. The candidates standing for elections must already be making a positive contribution to their families, communities, and the country so that their work can be multiplied or amplified. ICM will then serve as a platform for contesting elections and a coordination structure for all the independent candidates. The candidates will become members of the ICM, sign an independent candidate pact, and will abide by its constitution. Our objective is not just to make it onto the ballot paper, but to make it into office and make a difference. It is our intention to govern and/or have an influential voice in council in order to demonstrate a proof of concept. We want to be given an opportunity to show how the city should run. Then beyond the elections, we will continue with a quest of raising ethical leaders even in wards where we are not successful, because it's not about winning or losing, but about the people on the ground. Point number 2, include professionals and people with special skills. We have identified skills and expertise that are required to provide oversight and lawmaking in the legislature and included them in the movement and on the PR list. We ensured that the skills are focused on 1, public admin, the built environment. By built environment, we're talking about engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, and the likes. We're looking at the expertise in legal, human resources, information technology, planners, both city planners and town planners, safety and security, finance, communications and marketing, sports, recreation, arts and culture, supply chain, and audit. We will prioritize professionals and people with special skills in terms of deployment, in line with the deployment policy which we are going to develop. And this policy will be aligned with the Labor Relations Act and Basic Conditions of Employment Act. These skills, ladies and gentlemen, are required in running a municipality. And therefore, we encourage and invite professionals across Ekurhuleni and professionals from everywhere to take hands with us and join us in partnering with us, because we're going to need all those expertise. Point number 3, we want to take politics out of local government decision-making processes. Recommendations and decisions will be taken on merit, putting the interest of the broader community first without any fear or favor. Decisions will be based on what is right and not who is right. We discuss issues at hand and not people. We will allow and we encourage independent and discerning views, and always we will be willing to be persuaded. We will always be willing to be wrong where we fall short and not overrate being right. We will remove voting along party lines on matters where superior logic should prevail, in particular in instances that falls outside of our policy position. Politics is about decision making. We need to move away from the culture of rhetorics and hailing insults when we should be working together for the benefit of the community. And that's the culture that we want to take into council. Four, ensure independent and representative oversight by the legislature. This is what is referred to as council in local government. We will ensure placement of the right people in the right position at the right time to meet our service delivery targets. No cadre deployment, no favoritism, and no patronage. We will deploy only experienced and professionals in strategic positions, positions like the Speaker of Council, the Chief Whip, members of Mayoral Committee, chairpersons of standing and oversight committees, we will place these people relative to their expertise. Deployees must have the knowledge of the subject matter for them to be able to provide oversight over the administration. You cannot provide oversight over a health professional when you know nothing about health issues. So we want to make sure that in this position, the people that we put there are able to relate with the issues that they have to deal with. We will conduct skills audit and ensure continuous skills and professional development of all councillors and officials in the city. We will promote the culture of performance within all political parties, all political structures, political office bearers, and all councillors. We will ensure a clear delineation of powers and function between the legislature, which is council, and the executive, which is often known as the administration. As we know, the administration is accountable for service delivery. We believe that officials must remain officials and councillors must remain councillors. There can never be gray areas. It's always black and white, and it's as clear as that. People that will be deployed in council, their responsibility will be to lead and make decisions on behalf of the communities, whilst they allow an opportunity for officials to do their work. Point number 5, clean up the system and get rid of fraud and corruption. We will rid the city of unethical and corrupt officials. But first, we will give them, everyone, an opportunity to voluntarily resign from their position in the event that they are aware their integrity has been compromised in any way. And I believe this we should clap to, because corruption is a problem for local government. Failure which we will investigate all allegations that come forward, and if allegations warrants that we prosecute, we will prosecute. And not only will we end there, we will recover all the ill-gotten gains from the process of corruption. There will be no place for corruption when we govern. We will appoint, once we've cleaned up the system, then we appoint honest and ethical officials with experience, with the right expertise, and the heart for people to run a clean administration. Then we develop a policy on disclosure. Everyone that will be deployed into position, they will have to undergo a lifestyle audit. We encourage whistleblowing, so there will be a policy on whistleblowing. And this will include vetting of all senior managers and supply chain management staff, because this is where major decisions are taken. We want to ensure that the city is financially sustainable and attains a clean audit every year by making audit a lifestyle, because you cannot fix issues of audit in retrospect. Once you set a foot wrong, that's it, and you can never correct them retrospectively. Whilst we also address the issue of billing and revenue collection, since the budget and the revenue of the city is dependent on that. In essence, on this point, we want an opportunity to run a clean governance. Number 6, we want to strengthen the wards and organize them into committees and forums. To that end, we will focus on winning the hearts of our communities so that we can be the guiding light and the guiding factor for all South African citizens on their self-empowerment and taking accountability for their lives. We will provide necessary support and resources for communities to organize themselves into forums and communities for all their needs in their respective wards. For example, we advocate for communities to form ward committees, community-based organizations, business forums, community policing forums, youth and unemployment desks, and so on and so forth. For every challenge and societal ill in the community, we believe there should be a committee of interested and affected individuals with the necessary know-hows of that particular challenge. So you want to deal with unemployment, put together a group of the unemployed. You want to deal with the youth problem issues, put the young people together. They will assist us in terms of dealing with their challenges. Every decision, including implementation of projects and service delivery requests, will be done in conjunction with the ward councillor and the communities. We need to build a healthy, active, and engaged citizenry which is capable of working together and in partnership with the state to take full advantage of the opportunities from the public program and from public spending. The power to transform people's lives is in the public spending. There's no any other money elsewhere. It's the taxpayers' money that is used in terms of this project. And that's why we must catch it if we want to transform the lives of the people. Also coming to the communities, we want to rid the communities of the culture of dependency. The dependency on social grants and government for liberation of our people from their societal ills. It's something that we have to deal with. That's why our logo is the head of a human being with the part that is disconnected to show that we are independent thinkers and we can think for ourselves and we can do things for ourselves. And this is the area that we want to emphasize, especially when it comes to our communities, so that they can start thinking for themselves, liberate themselves, and know that the power lies within themselves to free themselves. We need to identify and mobilize all sectors and skills inherent within the ward dynamics. The wards are very big. Wards host a population of anything from between 15,000 and 40,000 people. People of different skills and expertise. You can think of any skill, you will find it within the dynamics of the ward. But often, we don't tap into this thing. We don't talk to these people. They're sitting in their own corners, they're complaining, what they call armchair critics. And we want to encourage people to say, become part of the ward dynamics. Become active and join this movement so that we can come up with solutions, some of them that are sitting in your heads. We need to focus on entrepreneurship and innovation as a key to addressing youth unemployment and leveraging on jobs of the future as a result of the fourth industrial revolution. As we know that most of the jobs that we have today soon will become obsolete. Power lies within the communities. And only when we realize that and do something about it, then we can change our lives. And we say, Vukuzenzele. 7, we have provide service delivery par excellence. This is where others make a promise, and we are saying this should just happen naturally, because that's the mandate that the people has given to us, or given to those that are in government. The first bullet on that, we're saying we have to ensure that at least 95% of the CAPEX budget is spent in line with IDP service delivery needs of the community in an open, fair, competitive, and transparent manner, whilst also ensuring that we address the aspirations of the communities at the ward level. We need to position the customer relations management as the custodian of the city's customers' needs to provide competitive and superior customer service. We need to develop a standard service delivery charter with clear and measurable standard delivery times in responding to service delivery queries. Here we're talking about waste collection, water and electricity interruptions, and potholes. To say when people complain, they need to know the standard turnaround times. To say how long does it take for us to fill in a pothole. And where we fail, we need to be honest and communicate back to the communities the reasons why we're not doing that. Because all these things are done with what we call an OPEX budget, which is an operational budget. And we need to be honest and share with the communities the constraints, because it's not like we have all the monies, for the whole world. The budget for the municipalities are limited, and we can only do so much with it. So we're not going to promise any lies. But we're going to share the information with the community. We want to deliver a quality customer relations management and refine what is referred to as the ORIT, which is the Operations Rapid Intervention Team, which is a team of municipality that meets every week to discuss issues of service delivery. We say that team must be refined and make sure that if it forms an integral part of service delivery, to the extent that it not only meets on Monday, but on a monthly basis, there's an audit with ward councillors, so that we take ward councillors along with us with regards to service delivery issues. We want to position the customer care center as the face of the city and ensure effective call center operations in terms of, number 1, waiting time, number 2, answering of calls, number 3, call duration, and number 4, queries resolved within the standard level agreement, the service level agreement. And these are the 4 key criteria through which a call center is measured. We want to improve the working conditions for all people working for government and ensure a conducive environment for excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where government interfaces with its citizens, and the level of service should leave a good, lasting impression on our customers. On 8, we deploy creativity and innovativeness to build the economy. We need to leverage on the OR Tambo International Airport as a strategic nodal point in the city and a quick win through full implementation of the Aerotropolis Master Plan. Ekurhuleni is referred to as an aerotropolis or an airport city, and it's about time we take advantage of the airport that is in our area. As it stands now, the airport is but a gateway. People come through the airport and they go through Ekurhuleni to Pretoria, to Joburg, to Sandton. We need to capture all the people that comes and ensure that they spend also their money in Ekurhuleni. We will focus as well on domestic and foreign direct investment and PPPs, public-private partnerships, with the view of stretching the budget and ensuring economic development of the city through the strategic land parcels, which have already been identified, to make sure that these parcels are developed for what they should be developed for. We need to make sure that we use them for what they were intended for. You cannot afford to have housing where you would have built a strategic project like an international convention center that would change the economy of the city. So we have to protect these strategic land parcels and make sure that they are used optimally. We will make land available for targeted strategic development to develop what is termed SUDs, strategic urban development, species of developments that where you target high-end developers, to come up and develop high-end type of development. And we want to make sure that we also create new value chains. We can't rely on our traditional, sources of income. They are dwindling, and it's important that we create new ones. We're going to make use of technology to translate rules and procedures into electronic processes and standard operating procedures. We will make all services available to residents and customers online. We know now that everyone has got access to a cell phone and technology. So we want our services to be accessible, all of them, online. We will introduce performance contracts with clear indicators for all employees across the entire organization that will be linked to performance-based incentive. So it's going to be a carrot and a stick. Where you perform very well, there'll be an incentive. Where you are not performing, there'll be a stick, which is a disincentive, so that we encourage people to do well. We want to develop a clear service providers insourcing and outsourcing strategy, looking at the respective pros and cons. We hear some of us saying that we are going to internalize all the services of the municipality. It's impossible. If you have a service that requires a pastor, for instance, to pray for us once a month in council, it would be foolhardy to have that expertise in-house. These are the things that you outsource and you use as and when required, because they will cost you more if they are inside and they will become idle. And the same applies with other expertise. You want to allow them to be outside. The fact that there is abuse of resources and processes does not mean we should do things wrong. So there has to be a clear policy of insourcing and outsourcing that will guide us in terms of what services that we put inside and which services do we outsource, with clear control mechanisms. Efforts will be made to strengthen our relationship with businesses within the city of Ekurhuleni through creating an enabling and conducive environment with regular engagements with businesses. Funding for bulk infrastructure and favorable bulk infrastructure policies will be prioritized. We must remember, ladies and gentlemen, that developers are fickle. If they feel that they are not valued, they will take their money elsewhere, like we have experienced in the city of Ekurhuleni with the Heineken project. So they must be treated with care. We need them. Last but not least is point number 9, taking power back to the people. How do we do that? By listening to communities' views on how to address their local challenges and integrating them into the city's decision-making processes. Treating citizens of Ekurhuleni and ratepayers as the employers that they essentially are. These are our employers, and they need to be treated like that. We have to treat them with consideration and with respect. We have to make sure our communities receive the service delivery that they deserve. The service delivery that is packed at the highest standards, with the highest quality of workmanship. That is not a promise, but that is a mandate they gave to us through the IDP. We want to keep communications lines always open and respond swiftly and honestly when the service level standards falls below the service level agreements. We want to encourage communities to do it for themselves, through community initiatives and campaigns, cleaning campaigns, grass cutting, healthy living, safety and security, food gardening and food security, and the list go on and on. We want to put in place governance structures that will enhance the capacity of the state and the citizens at ward level, so as to work together to address all the societal ills, putting emphasis on the triple ills of our society, which is poverty, unemployment, and inequality. We can no longer, as Pastor Matebula, Reverend Matebula always says, we can no longer be passengers in a bus driven by a drunk driver, leading us to an inevitable fatal end. Some are comfortable to sit and watch the entire nation crumble to pieces, but many are not. We, as the ICM, are here to challenge the status quo. We, ladies and gentlemen, we say let's take power back to the people, because that's where it belongs in the first place. But with great power comes great responsibility. And our communities need to understand that, and they need to prepare themselves for that. I thank you.